Record. All right, welcome to today's Talk Tuesday for April 4th. We have an exciting presentation today of just how a district is really putting some systems and structures in place to really build that sustainability piece on addressing attendance and engagement within their district. So as I move along, here is our agenda for today. And of course, we welcome you from CERC. I'm here along with my colleagues, Steve Profit and Anne-Marie Cardisco. Also with our Connecticut partners, Carrie Sullivan Custer, and Jay Brown is usually with us too as well. We're going to just go through a quick content piece in the beginning on technical and adaptive changes and challenges for schools and districts and what those could look like a little bit. Steve and I will kind of be co-presenting on that for a little. And then we're going to turn it over to Windsor Public Schools as they talk about the reset and attendance matters, why now, and some of the great things they're putting in place. We're here with Christina Morales, but we are also here with some of her team as well as Dr. Hayday and also with Dr. Mallory. So we thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to wrap it up at the end too with kind of our quick dates that we have left. The school year is quickly approaching on a wrap up. We don't have many to go, but we do have some exciting things coming up. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Just a little synopsis of the CSTE Superintendent's Digest. So Governor Lamont and our Education Commissioner Russell Tucker kind of announced an initiative to strengthen teacher recruitment and retention efforts. As you know, that's been a focus in our state. So there is some resources there and it goes along with teacher certification, kind of a review report, evaluation facts attached to that. And you'll see if you click the QR code or if you go on to the website itself, there will be workbooks and other resources there for you. There's also an article on Connecticut high dosage tutoring program available. There's also tutoring provider identification. And then also kind of goes along with the governor's and the commissioner's initiative is emergency educator certification endorsements. As you know, we're still in a shortage in pretty much every district in Connecticut. So that would be a great resource to look into, especially for recruiting efforts. And I am now going to turn this over to Carrie Sullivan Custer.
Thank you, Christine, and good morning, everyone. Happy Talk Tuesday. Some are on vacation this week and some are on vacation next week, but we're happy you're here today. We're super excited about the UConn. We can't start the day without saying go UConn. Exciting night and big win, yay. So I always start with data. And so this is the February data, was just released last week. And as usual, we look at this table that is published each week on the monthly attendance data website. It's called Supporting Student Participation. And when you get the slides, you'll be able to go to that website. You can also use the QR code and you'll find these tables here. And these tables have your district and your school's attendance data, whether it's chronic absence or average daily attendance. You'll see your data for last month. Well, it was February. So not quite last month, but in February. We're happy, not excited, definitely, but we're happy to see that in our subgroups are seeing a decrease in chronic absence compared to the end of last year. It's certainly not what we would like to see. And it is a little, it's about the same as it was in January. I did a comparison with January. We're about the same. We're definitely better than December. December was our peak this year. But just wanted to call your attention to this and let you know this data is here. And updated. If you need previous months, they only have the last month, which is February, up on the website. So if you need previous months, let me know. I keep those. So we're at 24.2 as a state, up a little from 23.7 last June. So if you want to gauge sort of where you are against the state average, that's what you would be looking at. I wanted to also, next slide, please, bring to your attention an opportunity that is rapidly approaching. Districts are being allowed to resubmit prior month's attendance data. I know I've met with several of you and you've said, well, our data wasn't actually accurate. We had to do some corrections to our earlier submission, so our data doesn't look like your data. So we are going to allow the resubmission of prior month's attendance data during this April collection cycle only. That would be the collection of the March data. The cycle runs April 3rd through 14th, and this is the only time you'll be able to update your data. And I just want to say the timeline's very quick. We need your district PSIS coordinators must notify the performance office by Thursday if you are going to upload the attendance data for the month September 22 through February 2023. So you have to notify them. And only those districts that notify the performance office will be able to upload those prior months data beginning on Monday, April 10th. And the deadline for all of the March data to be uploaded and the updated data for previous months is April 14th. This is really important. I don't want districts to miss this. You can't, as an attendance program person, I guess how I'd say it, you can't notify the PSIS, the performance office. You should contact your PSIS coordinator and they will know they should know about this. And you work with the data every month. And so you may understand some of the differences and the impact in your planning and your evaluation of impact. So just wanted to bring this to your attention. You need to let them know that the real date is the 7th, but that's a holiday. So you need to let them know by the 6th. Any questions about that? If you're a coordinator or administrator, please see your PSIS coordinator and they'll be able to do that. Next slide. So the next two resources I think are really helpful for us in our efforts to reduce chronic absence. Our academic office just announced high dosage tutoring in mathematics for academic recovery for grades 6 through 9. It's a $10 million grant. The grant has not been issued yet. They're looking for approved vendors for this program. It will be for next year. So when the grant application is announced, I'll let you know. But the governor and Commissioner Russell Tucker announced this just, I think, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. So this is important, right? If we can get kids caught up credit-wise and caught up in their learning and enjoying school more, they'll come more. So super happy to see this resource for district. Next slide, please. So sadly, we had another school shooting, and we are just reminding folks of these resources on the SDE website, and that there are contacts at the State Department of Education and the Department of Emergency Services Protection. I don't have that right, but the State Police and Emergency Services, William Turley. So if you need some assistance, but this QR code will bring you right to the webpage where you'll find the letter that went out last week to superintendents from the commissioner. And you'll also find these resources for addressing trauma. I want to say that if you have home visitors going home to visit parents, and this is in the news, you want to make sure that your home visitors are messaging consistently with the message that your school has. And so they're the ones sometimes who are coming face to face with parents and families who maybe have concerns. So I just bring these resources to your attention and supporting home visitors as they go through their home visits. Speaking of home visitors, I don't have a slide for this because I just figured out I could announce it just before we started today. But we are going to be offering LEAP, the Learner Engagement Attendance Program 101 training to non-LEAP districts. If you have been coming to Talk Tuesdays, you know that this LEAP program of home visits started during the pandemic in 15 districts and has had an impressive impact on attendance. And so if you have home visitors and you want to have them trained in the LEAP approach, we will be offering training to any district beginning April 26th. There's a training from 3 to 5. I'll send out more information. They'll be virtual, and it will be one in a series of trainings. So although we don't have additional LEAP funds for districts, we will be offering LEAP training for existing home visitors for districts who want to have that training. Next slide, please. And just, I shared this last time, but it's timely. The spring attendance slump, this is a tough time of year. The weather's getting nice. Families are taking vacations. There's some excellent resources on Attendance Works webpage. And so I wanted to just bring those to your attention again for you. I think that's my last slide.
I think so as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. All right. So as we're moving into kind of our focus on what districts are doing really well with putting together and facing challenges and changes and working together as a system, there are different challenges all systems, schools, teams have to face. And we call those technical problems and adaptive problems. And this graph really kind of talks about kind of like using that Venn diagram idea of where we stand with these problems. Districts go through sometimes two ways: that the problem is understood, the solution is known, and the problem is not understood, the solution is unknown, and it requires that new learning. So that's where it goes into that systems change and those systems thinking. So what do we need to have in place? Thinking of the adaptive challenges, changing those hearts and minds, we call it, of the people in your schools and districts, to give them the new learning that they need, the new process that they need. How do we create that buy-in, and how do we create that movement into a more sustainable system that we're looking to do? Because that's really what we're doing when we look at the attendance work and we look at our data and our information. We're taking all that, we're taking a lot of the technical pieces behind that, and we're moving it into an adaptive. So the difference between them, and this is kind of using a leadership lens, but as I say, we have a lot of leaders in different levels throughout, even just team leaders and data leaders, and how do leaders help to build this? And some of the biggest failures of leadership is kind of treating those adaptive challenges, those hearts and minds, those kind of belief systems, like technical problems. And the technical problems, a lot of times are easier to identify because maybe it's a data system that, you need to use a different data system. You're not collecting the right type of data. So maybe that's something that's more of kind of a technical problem that you need. So it's about looking into maybe a new data system. It often can lend themselves to quick and easy kind of country solutions. So you could hire an external consultant to come in, right? Like CERC or others out there, and and help work and train on maybe that new data system or maybe that new way of viewing attendance data. Um, and and at least that can bring a change into your district on a technical level. Um, it usually just requires that change, maybe one or a few places, because you're finding that problem. So by doing that piece of implementing that one piece, you're actually solving that problem. People are generally, they have this kind of receptive feeling to technical solutions because a lot of times it's easy to understand. All right, the data system isn't collecting the exact data points that we need to make our decisions. So now we're purchasing this new one because it will give us that information maybe more quickly and more effectively. We're going to need some training again, but it's something we can put in place. And the solutions at times can be implemented quickly. The adaptive changes, that's where it's a little bit more difficult to identify because again, you have a people or a way of even a team functioning and meeting together, roles and responsibilities, what the jobs are of people within that. So again, I love how number 2 on the slide actually talks about it with adaptive challenges. It requires the changes in values, beliefs, roles, relationships, and approaches to the work that we do. A lot of times that's where we do find the apprehension. It's where people don't really want to buy in 100% yet because they need to see what this looks like. People with the problem do the work of solving it. So a lot of times it's not that team approach to solving this problem. It's kind of that one person with the idea and says, this is what we need to do. So the buy-in really quite isn't there because the ideas weren't generated and shared. And it requires that change in numerous places across all the organizational boundaries. And you'll see that as our district is going to present that, it's not just in one school or it's not just in one place. It could be, but when it's system wide, it requires a lot broader range of numerous places of buy-in. And people often resist acknowledging that adaptive changes are going to work because, again, you're challenging those core beliefs, that mindset. We always say changing hearts and minds. We use that a lot. And it takes that internal real buy-in to do. And solutions require kind of that experimentation. I hate to call it that, but it really is. It's, is this going to work? How are we going to have these new discoveries? Is this something that's going to if we put in place, we're going to see the outcomes that we're thinking of getting. It can take time to implement. A lot of times I think schools, we really want to implement something and see it work right away. But with adaptive challenges, it definitely takes time to really develop that system really well. So kind of important beliefs. Leadership is key to school improvement. Research has showed us, yes, the biggest impact to classroom is that classroom teacher, but the second closest to that is leadership. Leadership for school improvement and change is essential. And knowing how to really approach that as a school leader, so that you're sharing that leadership and you're sharing that that belief and that desire. School improvement as a whole is an adaptive change. We could put all the technical pieces in place, but remember, it's that really internal, that people want this to work themselves. Internally, every single person wants to come to the table with this change. All improvement just requires that change and new learning. Using your teachers kind of as those instructional design makers, collaboration, and that kind of collective idea that we have this shared vision for our school and for our community. That's the essential component for sustainability. Because that is the actual ingredient that's going to make the work continue. So with your attendance teams and with your attendance conversations in place, what does that collaboration look like? What does the team look like? Does everybody know what they're bringing into the conversation? Using that data for information, not an end. And really, was something that, being a data person myself, it really is a continual cycle. And we're using it for information on a continual level. We're not looking for to tie it up in a nice little bow and that we're done, because it isn't. It's living and breathing and is continual. And more importantly, and there's lots of trainings on this, but root cause analysis, kind of identifying those bottom line root causes of why a problem is occurring, is crucial to making those informed decisions. And there's a whole process behind that, but working as a team to find what is that bottom line, that root cause that can really guide us for change.
So Christine, I dropped in the chat, everyone, and great seeing you all, the needs assessment, which is the root cause analysis toolkit that we've referenced a lot in our chronic absenteeism work over the last couple of years. So I just put that in there because it's a great toolkit to really begin to think about root causes for why certain groups or certain students or certain grade levels continue to be absent. So I just dropped that in there.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. And I know a lot of the work we've been doing with schools throughout the state have been using that document to really help guide their thinking about how to find that root cause. And every school, every district's going to operate a little bit differently. All your root causes are probably going to be very different in a lot of areas. So thank you for the tool. And please let us know if I'll attach it, of course, to the follow-up email, but let us know if you need any support with that as well. So that technical versus adaptive challenge. An adaptive challenge is that particular kind of problem solving where the gap just cannot be closed by the application of kind of the current know-how or routine of behavior. It doesn't follow that current trend. It takes a lot more, I think, multi-focus in order to address it and to solve it. Problem solving is not really going from, when it comes to an adaptive, it's not identifying the problem and then there's the solution. It takes those middle steps, and it takes a lot more of the building, of people and of their beliefs. So quickly, this is just a graph that located through cambridgeleadership.com. And I loved it because it broke down everybody sometimes kind of takes technical and adaptive, and we see it, Steve sees it, and they kind of forget which place the change actually is occurring in, and the kind of work that it's doing. So this lays out kind of that kind of work, a problem definition, solution definition, and kind of that locus or that focus, I call it, of the work. So again, the technical, bringing back that simple example of a data system that you're using, possibly in place. Maybe even some curriculum design that you're doing, that's very technical. So we have probably a clear definition, problem definition. We have a clear solution definition because we need to improve, say, curriculum or say our data systems. So we need that particular form of improvement. Again, authority, we're going to hire maybe an external person to come in and really guide us through that. There could be kind of a mix of the technical and adaptive. So think of the curriculum work you're doing, and there's might be a belief system within whatever curriculum you're putting into place, or design. That could be a mix of something. So maybe the problem definition is kind of clear that we need this change in curriculum or in focus, but the solution might require some new learning, because there might be an adaptive piece to that of, well, say reading instruction, or say how we're approaching attendance. This is not how, we see it as working, even though we found this technical piece. So you might need kind of that expert to come in to help with that piece of not only taking the technical, but working with how you could work with the beliefs and the buy-ins and how this might be a positive approach, an effective approach. And then there's the adaptive that's going to require kind of that learning, even with the problem definition. Solution, it's going to take a little bit more time to really bring people on board. You're going to need a lot of stakeholder feedback with that too. You're going to need to see what teachers, staff, parents, students are really thinking. We do that sometimes in the work that we all do, whether it be surveys, even staff surveys, student surveys, family surveys, getting some of that feedback. So those adaptive changes are going to really need that input and that high level of input. And this is just a quick list of adaptive challenges, and some of the challenges that you're going to face, because a lot of times you'll see this in your districts and your schools. And when it comes to attendance, it's really even more clear, I think, sometimes, because staff just want the problem fixed. They don't want to see the steps it's going to take, or the conversations that's going to be had, or the data that's going to be analyzed. The problem wants to be solved quickly, and there is no quick solution when it comes to adaptive change. So that's going to take a communication piece on the part of the school and the district to really communicate what this change might look like, what these steps might look like, and maybe how we can support that more. Can identify whether this student is an adaptive need of a student or a subgroup is an adaptive challenge, whether it's current how, to know how, or if new learning belief skills are actually needed, because maybe it's a technical, maybe it's something that we need to talk about. So again, that's why it's so important to use the data for information, because then it can help you to decide maybe it's a technical piece, or maybe it's something that we really have to talk about a little bit more. The people that are closest to the problem must be part of the solution if a change has to occur. So again, your attendance teams coming together, or the people that you're really, working with to really drive this change, you really need them as part of your group, as part of your team, and as part of your effort, because they have to be part of that piece of adding in their leadership expertise to what needs to be done. Because when people are faced with challenges that affect their work, their beliefs, who they are, why they came to the school, to the district, to the team, the leader must create that environment that's safe, welcoming, free from the blame, because that's not what it's about. For those involved, will be able to look at the problem with kind of that open minds. And some of this information we got from Ronald Heff's calls a leader who can be this adaptive leader is, again, going back to what Steve put in the chat, finding root causes and making changes takes time, collaboration, teamwork, and those efforts behind it. The biggest, I would say, oops, sorry about that. The classic error is treating those adaptive challenges as if they're technical. And I really like this piece because people aren't technical, right? The technical piece is just the system that you're putting in place in a technical way. People have much more to them than that. They're much deeper and they're much more multifaceted. And again, root cause, the most basic underlying specific reason for the presence of an effect or result. Root cause analysis is relentless questioning of the status quo, where staff can seek new teaching methods and test their theories in a culture of respect and safety. Because root cause, even if we find it, we still have to have that conversation around what this is going to look like. Now that we found our root cause, right? How are we going to move in the direction of a solution that has a precision statement, and we're going to make this change effective? We're going to use our 5 whys of who, what, where, when, and how to bring it into that direction. We want to drill down our data. We want to start with like that most important summative result and identify significant student needs, achievement needs. Form that team, ask the questions, know the why, collect the data from multiple sources to answer the questions. Discuss the data to determine findings, decide if the findings are root causes, and create team plans based on root causes. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I move along? And I know this was kind of a lot to talk about, but I wanted to really bring it to you because turning it over now to Windsor, they've probably gone through a lot of these technical and adaptive changes, you know, as they had to move their team forward and really collaborate and share information with others. And it's not easy, but it's essential. It's essential for effectiveness.
I think, Christina, before you run, I think, and Jay, I think you can speak to this as well. Another similar initiative, such as chronic absenteeism, that we're really working through the technical and adaptive challenges is the whole rollout of the IEP quality training in relation to the new CTSED system. So as you know, there's been a lot of technical challenges that we're trying to work through and support districts to create that adaptive change, as well as the rollout of the IEP quality training. How do we write more high quality IEPs? So we're really continuing to balance that technical versus the adaptive changes so that we can begin, once we work through some of the challenges, that we can look at our IEPs and see that they are now of higher quality than what may have been written in the past. So I just wanted to make that connection to another project that we're working with. All right.
Great, thanks, Steve. Yes, and we're hearing a lot of adaptive challenges along with that process. So yeah, absolutely. But it takes time. It definitely does. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to Christina Morales, Dr. Hayday, and Dr. Mallory. So go right ahead and just say next when you want me to advance the slide. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Christine. When you were going through all those technical and adaptive challenges, I could do nothing but smile. So it's very real. But we want to present to you today how we did a reset, and we just had to do a reset. So we've been meeting as a district-wide attendance committee with folks across our district here at our central office for the first 4 months of the school year. And then we just had some transition with our acting assistant superintendent. Dr. Hayday came in January. We talked a little bit about attendance, where we were, what our numbers look like, and she just pushed the button and said reset. And we did. And so myself, Dr. Mallory and Dr. Hayday came together, and you can go over to the next slide. We came together as the senior executive committee, right? There's 3 layers to what we're doing in this district. And if you can't go to work and have fun with your work, then why do the work? So actually in February sometime, as we were starting to get this work going, Dr. Hayday sent myself and Dr. Mallory an email, and in her email it said, "Hello, co-executive senior leadership attendance matters superstars." And with that, we just rolled with it. And so I'm Christina Morales. I oversee the office, or I lead our Office of Family and Community Partnerships here in Windsor Public Schools. I've been with Windsor for 4 years. Before that, I was in Bloomfield Public Schools for 3, and then working in Hartford in a nonprofit that worked with youth development and concentrated on youth development and after-school programs. That's a little bit about me. I'll toss it over to Dr. Haiti, and Dr. Haiti will toss it over to Dr. Mallory for introductions.
All right, thank you, Christina. I'm Dr. Noha Haiti. I'm the acting assistant superintendent. I've been with Windsor for 7 years as a STEM director. And just recently, toward the end of December, I became the acting assistant superintendent. Dr. Mallory.
All right, so excited to be here with my senior executive committee rock stars. So Dr. Mallory, I've been in Windsor for about 2 years now. I lead our social emotional learning department initiatives, and super happy to be here to talk about why attendance matters. Next slide, please.
Dr. Mallory, before you begin, I do want everyone to know through the adaptive process that Christine was going over, we start our meetings, our district attendance meetings and our attendance clerk data meetings with this book. And it's called The Book of the Awakening. And I just wanted to share something before we get going, because I want you to really feel what this reset has done for us. So today I'll be talking fast is the topic of this particular calendar session in the Book of the Awakening. Live loud enough in your heart, and there is no need to speak. There was a time in my life during my years in college when I was so talkative that the waterfall of words kept others at a safe distance. Of course, in time, this cascade pushed others away. But what I didn't realize till much later was that I kept talking faster and louder to the world around me because I couldn't hear the world within me. Of course, the more noise I made, the less chance I had of having what was real enter me or rise from me. It became a damning cycle. So often we mistake the need to hear with the need to be heard. All that talk was a way of reaching out to others with my heart. Ultimately, it was all based on the fear that if I didn't throw my heart out there, through endless words and gestures and questions, I would be left alone. It's taken me many years to learn that the world comes flooding in, and if I can only keep myself open, it remains important to reach out to express oneself, but underneath that is the need to be porous and real. Through the opened heart, the world comes rushing in, the way oceans fill the smallest hole along the shore. It is the quietest sort of miracle. By simply being who we are, the world will come to us, cleanse us, baptize us, and again and again. And then we ask our team members who are listening to this particular piece, center yourself by breathing steadily. We ask them to close their eyes, plant their feet, relax all of their muscles. Bring into view one thing you are reaching for. As you exhale, reach without moving and let it open up your body. Bring into view one thing you are needing to express. As you inhale, fill without speaking and let it open up your heart. And that's how we start all of our meetings, so that we are all centered and we are making sure that all folks don't bring the outside world into what we are about to talk about. Dr. Mallory?
I feel so renewed, Christina, and she's right. This is how we start every meeting, and it just sets the stage to say, hey, we know attendance is an issue, right? Statewide, national, on the national space, and I think this helps us as we begin our reset. So next slide, please. So we're here to talk about just our purpose, process, and payoff, right, for why attendance matters. Our purpose is to illuminate our why for creating an attendance system. As we all know, right, districts are only as strong as the system that they create. And if it's not manifested and if it's not designed in a way that can lead to some type of coherence, right, that's how we're not able to fully service our students and our families. Our second part is our process. We're going to walk through our newly created attendance tracking protocol and system and how it's in the short kind of immediate process so far in a year has been showing, tangible dividends for us. And then finally, our payoff, right, that district alignment, coherence, and the ultimate goal while we all are here, how can we truly reduce chronic absenteeism that has been pervasive through all our districts, and how we can find and brainstorm together and collaborate for just a robust experience for our students. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our purpose. So why now, right? As Dr. Haiti mentioned, when she, became our acting assistant superintendent, she had a dream, right? She had a dream and a vision. She was going through the data and she was looking at things, and it was like, wait a second, attendance matters. If we're truly trying to get to the end goal, right? Provide this amazing instructional experience for our students. As we know, we need butts and seats, right? We need our students to be present. So as she started disaggregating the data and looking at it, whether it's for COVID, students being sick, or a myriad of challenges and issues, right? It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the year. There's no time like the present to service our students and create a system, a process. So ask the questions. Do you think rolling out this new process mid-year is a good idea? So when you just look at a quick snapshot of our data across our 6 schools, there's no time in the present. We were having students with all of these unique challenges and different situations, and just looking at the aggregate data, it doesn't matter if this is January or February, we're going to start this system now. We're going to make it amazing. And so our message to the leadership, listen, we know that starting things mid-year could be convoluted, or it could be, leave a different taste in your mouth. But guess what? This is about our students. It's not about the adults. And we're here to service our students so we can feed their greatness and ensure that they're getting an amazing educational experience and troubleshooting issues or challenges that might not have them in school. And then being an Alliance district, and one of Dr. Haiti's meetings with the Alliance, and it was like, hey, so what are you all doing about this? Now that you all have tangible data and you understand this, and you're going to reset, what are you going to do about it? And this is what we're so excited to present about. Next slide, please. All right, so quickly our process. So we had a district-wide reset in January. So Dr. Haiti created this amazing, concise, but powerful letter to all our families and staff and said, listen, this is where we are as a district. Attendance matters. Some changes are coming down the pipe, and is going to lead to district alignment and coherence. We want to service our families. And she sent that out, and it set the stage to say, oh, something is about to happen. Now, eyebrows are raised, and we're going to see what's going to happen so we can see what direction the district is moving. As Christina mentioned, then we created our Senior Executive Attendance Committee. As many people know, when you have too many chefs in the kitchen and you have so many voices there, it can take a vision in so many different directions. So Dr. Haiti said, listen, less is more. We're going to collaborate. I want to pick you and Christina. We're going to brainstorm, troubleshoot this together, see if we can get this to a concise metric. And then we're going to push this out, to our district teams. And we realized that less is more, and that led to a very powerful process. And then February 7th was our district-wide PD. So we had a district-wide PD. Dr. Haiti had each building leader send their attendance team committee members, but specifically the individuals that would be responsible for this new process and protocol. And we had a...
Dr. Mallory, I just want everyone to know that the Senior Executive Attendance Committee, we met collectively maybe about 4 or 5 times. In maybe, I think it was about 3 times before we even met with our district-wide committee to reset. And in that time, we spent at least maybe no less than 10 hours just preparing all of this. And I understand that a lot of times we don't have the time to prepare, and we often just kind of put things together and have at it. But we really are invested in making sure that the 900 kids who are missing seat time are back in our schools, and we wanted to make sure we allocated that time. So I just wanted everyone to know that, we didn't just put things together, that we really prepared. Myself and Dr. Mallory even prepared before we went to Dr. Haiti, because we really are invested in this. So I'll be quiet now.
No, it was perfect. Thank you for adding that. And Christina is right. So the amount of time we imagine our own work schedules, and we say, hey, this is important. And if we're going to do this right, and we're going to make this reset impactful, let's make sure that we dot our I's, cross our T's, and we put out a product and a process that can make sense. To Christina's point about our 900, a little over 900 students who, chronic absenteeism, impacts. And then we had our district PD, to where we had our tech people, every situation that we needed, our key players that could help with the different aspects that our team members needed was there and present to deliver, targeted PD, retrain individuals on certain processes, and move forward from there. And then after that, we met with our district-wide attendance committee reps. So the Dr. Haiti reached out to all of the building leaders and said, hey, send me your team, your people that's going to be responsible for this. We met with them, troubleshooted a couple of different things. And then our clerical admin assistants, those that will be responsible for what Dr. Haiti is going to be speaking about next, is the system and the protocol. We had a half day. We said, we're going to actually take you off from the schools. We know that things are happening real time. You're busy, you're being pulled, answering phones. We're going to give you uninterrupted space, bring you to the district office, and then we're going to train you again and set up the process and the protocols to make sure that everything can happen. So we did that. Then we brought it to our broader leadership meeting, which is comprises about 30 leaders across the district. And then throughout this process, once we started rolling it out, we moved that process to our attendance clerks and started having constant check-ins with them to make sure, like, hey, how are you doing with this? We know that this is a heavy lift, but we're here to help you and hold your hand throughout the process. And then finally, within that process, and Dr. Haiti will speak a little bit about this, we had some attendance codes shifted to make this process even that much more robust and simplified for our people. Next slide, please.
Before we move on, I do want to just reference number 3. February 7th was a district-wide PD. So Dr. Haiti is playing the role of 2 people in our district. She is also our STEM director, and she was out training with her team at the high school. Dr. Mallory has his team, and he was with his SEL specialist. I was here with my team, but also making sure that I was checking in on the February 7th administrative assistants PD. And I happened to walk in because I just wanted to check in and see how everybody was doing. We are a very check-in senior executive team. And in all transparency, this team was very upset. And I walked into almost an ambush. And but I stood fast because I knew what our vision was, and it was to get the 900 plus students back in their seats. And that's the only thing I had in mind. Feelings set aside, work set aside, it was about our students. And I think because we've been leading with that message in mind, people have been shifted. And so with that February 7th PD, an Excel spreadsheet with all of these questions came about. But we allowed for that opportunity for that feedback to happen. And we were very clear, hey, I know you guys might be upset. I know these are some changes. We are happy to accept any feedback, any questions. We will do our best to answer what we can. Right now, my colleagues, Dr. Haiti and Dr. Mallory, are not with us. But I think it's really important for us to understand where you're coming from. They created an Excel spreadsheet on their own with tons of questions, which then in turn, we went and answered each and every one of those questions. And the why now and the reset was because of the 900 kids. And that was a question from one of our attendance clerks. And so we used that and leveraged that because of the 900 kids. And so when we said that, and one of the other questions was, well, why mid-year? Because we have 900 and something kids not in their seats, period. It's not about you, it's not about us, it's not about anyone else, it's about the students. And so we had to message that. And that was really like our turning point for those folks.
And Christina, if I can add before we move on to the next slide, like the one takeaway that, I really think you all should take from this, it did require a lot of time, hours and hours. But you know what? Every single person who's involved beyond the senior executive level, so all our attendance clerks, our attendance reps, our FRCs, everyone was able to see that we are putting in that much time. And I have 2 roles in the district. Everybody else on the team is doing a million other things. So the fact that we dropped or put aside a lot of the other stuff that we were doing and really focused on attendance really sent an amazing and very powerful message that this, as a district, we care about this. And then we started seeing beliefs, actions, and everything else started to shift with everyone else on the team. So I'm excited to, move through the presentation and then get you to where we are at this point and the feedback that we're getting at this point. So we can go to the next slide. All right, so what did I do? So, Thank you, Christina and Dr. Mallory, both of them. And really, all this work would have never been possible if it was not for Dr. Mallory and Christina coming together and not, Christina could have said, that's not my job, or Dr. Mallory could have said, that's not for me to do. But the minute I reached out to them, I said, it makes sense. You are our family community partnership. You are our SEL coordinator. It just makes sense that we put our brains together and work on how can we get our 900 kids who are not here, how can we get them back in school? My background in math and software engineering, actually, I love spreadsheets and I love formulas and I love data. So I created a system that it's easy for every single principal, building leader, attendance clerk, anyone in the district who has access to this at any day, any point in time, they can look and see who has been chronically absent up to today, so it's 10% of the school days that we are so far. So we are 138 days or whatever in school, who's chronically absent, who's truant, and what, all the data in one place. So I know all these numbers could be pulled from PowerSchool, or we can look at EdSite at the end of the month. So all of the data is in different places, but what we wanted to do is combine everything in one place that is easy to be looked at, easy to be manipulated, and for our attendance teams at every building to own that data. So if I'm not working on a specific kind of data every day, I don't feel any kind of ownership with it. And that's what was happening with our attendance clerk. So all they do is they just mark kids here, not here, excused, not excused, and that's it. They have absolutely no buy-in. They don't feel like this is something that belongs to them, nothing at all. So I wanted to change that. And that's what the spreadsheet did. So I created a spreadsheet. Every building has their own spreadsheet. I preloaded all the students in the building, all their demographic information. And I also pulled, if you look at the column I, was the student chronically absent last year, 21-22? And this became very, very important because that was our first red flag. So if a student was flagged as chronically absent last year, that is a student that we need to still keep an eye on, especially if they are becoming more, chronically absent or truant. The spreadsheet collects total numbers of absences. It collects total number of excused absences and total numbers of unexcused absences. And then I created formulas to automatically calculate the percent of students who are truant and the percent who are chronically absent. So what happens every Friday, and some attendance clerks decide to do them on a daily basis, and I told them that's up to you, but the expectation is that every Friday, the spreadsheet is updated. So we, during our PD, our half-day PD, we had people from our technology department. We had our PowerSchool person. Everybody was there. We trained them on how to pull attendance reports for excused absences, unexcused absences, and how to verify total number of absences. So we trained them, we walked through it, we had them practice, and all they have to do is pull the report, dump it into their spreadsheet, and then check and make sure that the total number of absences is correct. So as they do this work, all the numbers automatically calculate, and then it's also formatted where it automatically turns different colors, and every color means something different. So when you look under percent of school day absent, which is your truancy, and the percent of chronic absenteeism, if it turns into red, that means they hit the 10%. So they are chronically absent. And then when you look at the total numbers, we have 3 different colors. We have yellow, so that's total absences from 0 to 5. And then we have, yellow is 5 to 10. And then once they hit 10, it turns into green. Once they hit 15, it turns into blue. And that triggers different actions down the spreadsheet. So if you click on the next slide. So if a student turns yellow, that is an indication to our attendance people that an action needs to be triggered under tier 1. And the tier 1 actions They have, Christina's gonna walk us through all the resources, but they have a letter. So that's something else that we created as a team, a district-wide letter. So we have a district-wide tier 1 letter, we have a district-wide tier 2 letter. So once the student turns yellow, that means letter 1 needs to be sent home. Before it gets sent home, a phone call is made to tell the parent that, this is coming home, what's going on, can we help, what's happening? And then they have to document in the spreadsheet if the parent responded back to the letter or the phone call, and what was the reason for the 5 absences. Once the student name turns green, that means, okay, we're done with actions in tier 1. They have had 10 days of absence. So that's total absence, excused or unexcused. Then that triggers an action in tier 2, which is our second letter. The language in a tier 2 letter is a little more, I don't know what it's a little more serious to tell parents, okay, like we're up to 10 days. You only have 18 days in the school year to be chronically absent. What's going on? And then followed with a phone call, followed with another. So a tier 2 action must take place, which is either a parent meeting, a home visit. And again, we have a list of tier 2 actions that our school teams need to have done and document in this spreadsheet. Same thing, once the name turns blue, that means, okay, so now you're up to 15 absences. So you are at risk of being chronically absent for the year. And there must be actions in tier 3. And that's where we would do like a DCF referral if we're not hearing back from parents, if we're not getting any documentation for why the kid has been out, if we cannot get hold of a parent, referral to our youth services in town. So we have, again, different actions that could be done under tier 3. So really and at first, like Christina said, the attendance clerks were, the pushback, this is a lot of work. We've never done this before. Why should we do this? All of that was, we heard all of this feedback, but it was really important to communicate that this is a district priority and we have to know why our kids are not here. And we do understand that kids are sick. Kids will, if you have COVID and you have to be out for 5 days, if you get COVID twice, here you go. That's 10 days. You're there. You're up there in tier 2. But the problem was we did not have documentation. I could not, meet with my superintendent and tell him where are the 900 kids or why the 900 kids were absent. Now I can filter through every school. I know exactly who's absent because they are sick. I know exactly who's absent and we did not hear anything back from the parent. I know what actions have been taken with every single child who has been absent in every single school in our 6 schools. So it's just a system where everything is in one place. All right, go to the next slide. And, like Christina mentioned, so we rolled it out, we had PD, we taught our admin assistants or our attendance clerks how to do it, how to run it. And then I started setting the expectations. So at our February PD, I trained them on PowerSchool attendance reports. So how do they pull reports? I trained them on how to use the spreadsheet. So a lot of them did not have really a strong background in Excel. So I taught them how to use the spreadsheet, how to filter, how to, make it easier for them to get their work done. Something else we also did was an attendance email. So as a way to make it easier for parents to report why their kids are out, we created a QR code. And I think that's maybe next slide. Can you, oh, okay, so can you go back? We'll get to it, but we created a QR code and it's everywhere. It's on our website, in print, on newsletters. Every single parent have seen the QR code by now to make it easy. So if your kid is going to be out, just scan the QR code. It's a very, very short Google form. You fill it out. You tell us why your kid is out. Once I hit submit, the form is routed in different places. So depending on the school, the form goes directly to the admin assistant who's responsible for attendance in that school. So during the PD, we created in every single admin assistant email, we created a folder so that all the attendance emails go directly to the folder. That will do 2 things. It's not going to fill their inbox with a lot of emails. And the other thing is all the attendance emails will go to a specific folder. So now part of their daily routine after checking phone messages and, you know, getting calls in the morning, they go to their attendance folder in their email and they check and see who has reported their kids out and why. And then they go into PowerSchool and adjust that. So that was something new also that we added was the QR code. We did a quick data analysis 101 workshop with them, how to look at the data, who should you be, you know, how should you filter so that you work with kids who need the most help first. You know, kids who have like 38 and 39 days of absence, they need to be addressed first before we address kids who are at 5 or 6. And then we reviewed daily and weekly processes and protocols. So we spelled it out. We have a like a cheat sheet where it says, you know, when you come in the morning, that's what you do, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on Friday, that's what you do, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone got it. It's linked with all the resources they need. And it's very, very clear in that what we wanted to do. We wanted to make it simple and clear so that everyone involved, whether you're an admin assistant, an attendance clerk, FRC, anyone who's involved in your attendance team can get this work done. Can we go to the next slide? Okay.
I know we only have a few minutes, so I'll go through this pretty quickly. We created a resource binder, and this is what it looks like. So we have a hard copy and we have an electronic version as well. So the electronic version looks exactly like this hard copy. In here, you'll find table of contents with district meetings. So if we have meeting minutes or any materials that come from the district meetings, they could plop it in that binder. Guiding documents, we'll go through some of that, reporting board policies, state laws, tons of SDE resources, and attendance works resources. And so in this binder is like a handy dandy notebook, if you remember Blue's Clues. Next slide. All right, so Dr. Haiti did mention the QR code. Here's our lovely QR code with our dinosaur in the middle. And so we asked, again, our leadership to post in their newsletters, making sure that families were getting this information. And
Christina, can I answer just, there's a question on the QR code. How do we make sure that high school students do not bypass their parents? So when we created this, we thought about that, right? So we have something in place, but it will not catch every single student. So once they hit submit, they have to provide an email address. So they get a copy of the form. So if they use their parent email addresses, then the parent is going to get a copy. So hopefully that will trigger the parent to say, what? I did not fill that form. What's going on? If they use their own email, the attendance clerk, when they get a copy of that form, they can see which email was used. So they, you know, if the email looks like it's an email from a student, then, you know, the attendance clerk can send an email to the parent to just make sure. However, we do realize that we might miss some, but if you think about it, when we look at chronic absenteeism, it's really total absences. This form is to tell us why they're absent, so excused or unexcused. And this is really for our internal purposes to see why kids are absent so that we can intervene. So, you know, we thought about it and we're like, you know what, the benefit that we're gonna get from the QR code outweighs the few kids who might try to break the system and report it themselves. But we did definitely, that definitely came up.
And so Dr. Haiti mentioned earlier that, you know, we have an online form, we have attendance emails, and we also have a Windsor Public Schools mobile app. And so we have the QR code on all of those features. Next slide. All right, here goes the daily and weekly attendance protocols Dr. Haiti mentioned. So you can see the step-by-step guidelines and what they need to do. So all of our attendance clerks use this in their daily routine. Next slide. And in that daily routine, when we do blast phone calls, so if there's like 20, 30 students out, we'll use our Thrill Share, which is also like School Messenger or Parent Share. comparable. And so we, send out a blast message, but there's still, follow-up that needs to happen. So some of the families will call back or fill out, use a QR code or fill out our online form. So for those families that we don't hear from, we are obviously calling those families on a daily basis. Here's our letter 1. So this letter 1 is for absences 1 through 10. And then our letter 2 is for our absences beyond 10. And so you'll see the differences, in the letter 1, hey, we missed your child. We're writing to check in to see, if we can offer support. Let us know, this is the number of absences you've had to date. We're so happy to help you. Let us know what you need from us. And then after absences 10, we're like, hey, attendance matters. So this is where Dr. Haiti said, our messaging is a little different, but not punitive, right? So research says that if you're not in school, this is what's going to happen. So make sure you're sending your kid. And so that's what that looks like. Next slide. With those letters and also with resources on our website, we have our family attendance guidance. So this sheet on the right hand or the left hand side is what families will see, what tardy means, what absent means, present, excused. We want to be able to inform them and build their capacity as well as our staff. And so families need to know what all of this means. And so on the back side of the family attendance guide, you also have resources. Hey, if I can't get my kid to school because of transportation, please call one of the family resource center at your particular school. And then we also provided this guidance from our district attendant, our district nurse. She also provided this, when to keep your kids home. And so these are the 2 documentations that we have on our website, on our app. We also send it home with the letters. Next slide. All right, so, of course, with our senior executive team, then you have a district-wide committee who represents each of the schools, but you also have to have your school attendance teams. And so those teams meet for an hour per week and review school-based data, as Dr. Haiti had mentioned, and they create next steps for each child. In addition to that, when you're creating these teams, these are the people to consider to be a part of those teams. And so this is how we've identified that. This is a list for everybody to have so they know who's who and who's doing what at each of the particular schools. Next slide. All right, so I'm going to toss this over to, I think, Dr. Haiti, or not. I'll just go ahead.
So let me just say, Christina, if you want to keep going, people can self-select to stay on and listen because this is awesome stuff, and we can give you like another 5 minutes or so.
Yep, we're almost done.
Go, then of course, do what you need to do, but we'd love to hear the rest.
Yeah, we have 2 more slides. Hopefully y'all all can stay on, all 57 of y'all. But our payoff to date, right? It's, our parents reported to our superintendent at a sporting event that they were thankful for the QR code that is easily accessible. So we were super excited because our superintendent was like, I don't think they're going to use it. And, they were very thankful for it, right? Our Clover Family Resource Center coordinator reported that their attendance committee was seeing a decline in unverified absences due to this work. In addition to that, they were improving on, or they were continuing to make home visits, and that they were increasing their home visits. But in addition to the home visits, they created packets for their families to have all sorts of resources in there. In our Alliance monitoring meeting, we had a 7% reduction of chronic absenteeism was reported since the beginning of the school year. And we really believe that's been happening over the last couple months. Our office clerks reported that despite the initial lift, that they were very thankful for the district-wide cohesion. And they reported that in our attendance clerks meetings that we have with them. They also want to, they also want to meet bi-weekly or bi-monthly. And so we're trying to figure out, is that a space for them to meet collaboratively? Do we need to be a part of that space? So we're still trying to work those things out. And then they also are reporting weekly in the tracker, as you already have heard. Next slide.
Yeah, and so this is our last slide, and just to give you all quickly our last steps, right? So Christina, myself, and Dr. Haiti, we're going to be just having accountability attendance visits at all 6 schools. So just say, hey, we're going to join the attendance committee meeting that's happening at your individual site school. And to let you know, once again, we're all in this work together. So we didn't just create this system of cohesion to then just leave it on you. We're in this together, but we all need to be accountable for the process that's been happening. Then we're going to bring our entire district team together by the end of the year. Just what are the key takeaways? So we did this lift in the middle of the year. We troubleshooted a bunch of things, but how much data now can you all see and have been able to disaggregate and see the process and the wins that we've been able to see? So we're going to get those key takeaways. And then we're going to celebrate our attendance clerks and our data entry teams, just because we know that starting anything at the beginning of the year, doing all of the training can lead to, as Christina mentioned, a lot of just frustration, right? But seeing the tangible dividends, we want to celebrate that. And then our summer planning. So everything from the QR code, our marketing, leveraging attendance, matters, resources, and some of the things we've created in-house. Starting in July, we're going to start. So as we're doing our summer enrichment, students are that's a part of our enrichment. They're going to be getting attendance materials to give to their family. We're going to be using our Thrill Share to, do, spontaneous messages throughout the summer. And by the time we get back to August, it's full implementation. We have a half a year of data that we have leveraged, saw the process, the big heavy lift of all of our students from last year, what we mentioned to our clerks was already done. And guess what? Now we'll be able to start at the beginning of next year, real time, and continuing to work on this reduction of chronic absenteeism.
Yeah, and one last thing, we're also doing a community-wide campaign effort. So we're going to be working with our public library, our Chamber of Commerce, our First Town Downtown, some of the business that people regularly go to make sure that, our QR codes are there, but that the attendance message matters, that everybody's on board. So we're really excited about it. We're so thankful for everybody being a part of this presentation. I hope that you gained a lot of information. We are always willing to share because Connecticut's children are all our children, and so we want to make sure all of our kids are in their seats. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Christina, Dr. Hattie, Dr. Mallory. We definitely appreciate this. Some really valuable strategies and system building pieces and ideas for overcoming those adaptive challenges. We thank you all for staying on with us. Those that could, I know we're a few minutes over, but so valuable. We will make sure to follow up with an email with, make sure this gets posted on our Talk Tuesday website and you get all the resources that you need. Our last 3 dates just for this school year, we are planning more to come, hopefully, are April 18th, May 2nd, and May 16th. And we're hoping to have some information for you on working with special education students and 504 students within the area of attendance. And here are our emails if you need to keep in touch with us. And please, at anytime, reach out. Here's how you can contact us. But we thank you all for joining us today. Have a wonderful week. And we will see you again soon.
All right. Let me do that. Attendance.
Thank you, everyone.